off the bench, and the Leafs win it.
Two great stops by James Reimer. The Maple Leafs have an enormous win with 36 saves from James Reimer.
Last season, James Reimer came from what seemed like nowhere to become the toast of Toronto. His dream season landed him a full-time job and a multi-million-dollar contract. But amid all the publicity, few noticed the inspiration he drew from the back of his mask.
I pick up my helmet to put it back on, and you see it, and you realize that, you know, my life is so good, you know. I'm so blessed in comparison to the fight she had to have.
This is Morweena, Manitoba, the place where Reimer first played the game. It's also the home of Earl Reimer, James' older cousin and the person he's always looked up to.
My relationship with Earl was kind of a mentor thing, the role model, you know, growing up, and, you know, you kind of wanted to be like him.
In 2005, Earl married Ramona Petkau. Ramona was a volunteer who'd been to Haiti to help children. A perfect match for Earl, who'd been doing similar work in Trinidad and Tobago.
When she cared for kids, she had this thing where the more disadvantaged a child was, the more she wanted to take care of them.
Their main goal was to look out for other people and care for other people, especially, you know, if they're in and had unfortunate times or if they're needy.
Ramona's had a dream since she was 16. She had this dream of going to Africa and helping kids in Africa. 6 months after we got married, we were looking at different organizations and looking to find connections to get overseas, to get to Africa. And it was shortly after that she got diagnosed with cancer.
Tumors were found in several places in her body. Ramona was just 23 years old.
It was so life-threatening right away that within the first few days, we went to look for a second opinion because he gave us almost no hope right from the beginning.
I can't imagine being the one to have to deal with it, you know, having it grown inside of you.
She believed so strongly that she would be okay, and she wasn't fighting this fight for no reason. And she just held on to that hope for a miracle, that she'd get to go to Africa.
But the cancer began to take full control of Ramona's body.
To watch somebody shut down from the pain that they live in, and the pain week after month after year, it just gets to you after a while.
While all of this was going on, James was in Toronto playing for the Marlies. When news of Ramona's fading condition reached him, he headed home.
Kind of heard she was on her deathbed, and it was definitely close to the end, and so you know, I just wanted to be there to be there and see her, you know, and also be with Earl. I mean, obviously I was pretty close with Earl too.
James and I just had to get her to the hospital. I just needed to get her to there. I couldn't handle being in there for so much longer, so we found a couple of hockey sticks, and we just went and shot a ball around for a couple of hours.
It was me and some of my siblings in her hospital room. Then someone said, "She's not breathing."
I was in the waiting room when somebody ran to the door, and they're like, "Ramona's on her last breaths." And so I went down the hallway as fast as I could, and I made it back to the room for one last breath that I made it to the side of her bed, and then she passed away.
When you're married to someone, you know, you get really close to that person. Obviously, it's your best friend, and you love that person more than anything. And then when that person gets kind of torn away from you, I can't imagine the healing that has to happen in somebody's heart.
After Ramona's passing, family and friends formed a group called Ramona's Reach. Their goal was to accomplish what she'd hoped to do, but never got the chance.
We're making Ramona's dream come true in Uganda. We're planning to build a children's home there, actually a whole children's village. We're doing all that in her name because she wanted to make a difference in the world.
Her life is proof that you can have influence well after you pass away. When you live a life of passion like that, the influence of your life carries on.
Obviously it was tough at first, but when it's all over and you remember her and you celebrate her life, it's amazing, and you can't help but smile.
And the kid from Marina, Manitoba has his first National Hockey League shutout.
James Reimer may be a feel-good story in a city starved for hockey success, but he had his share of setbacks getting here and realizes nothing is guaranteed. And if things suddenly don't go so well and he finds himself needing a spark, all he has to do is glance at the back of his mask.
I'll have a tough period, or maybe it's a tough game or a tough couple of games, you know, or even being sent down a couple years ago. And I mean, if she can battle cancer for 3.5 years and fight through it, I mean, surely I can, you know, I can go out there for another period. Having that on my helmet, I mean, it inspires me to keep playing, to keep getting better and keep working as hard as I can.